you're watching GameSpot Daily, where we cover 6 gaming news stories in 30 minutes or less. I'm Callie, and I'm joined by Michael Hyam.
What up?
It's day 2 of GameSpot Daily. This is our second show. This
Yes.
is GameSpot's new news show.
New news
It's hard,
show.
hard to say.
Yeah, we try and keep it chill here. We're not going to yell at you or, try and be very loud like some people we might know. But, we're going to take it easy,
Yeah, we like to chill out. So welcome. We are talking about several cool things today.
Yes.
As the headline suggests, GTA. It's one of those things. We're also talking about Dark Souls and The Simpsons drama.
Yeah, we're gonna get into some pretty deep shit here, but maybe I don't know how deep it's gonna go.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go. What do you want? You want to start light?
We're gonna start light and easy, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Story number 1. Dark Souls Remastered fixes Blighttown. This comes from Polygon. Tell me about this, because I'm not very familiar with the Dark Souls.
Where do I start? Well, Dark Souls is a game.
Cool.
It's a good game. But
so far so good.
So the thing about Blighttown is a city in Dark Souls, and the problem was that frame rate drops were very dramatic in the original game on PS3 and Xbox 360. You were getting probably drops to like 10 frames per second, which is a very big impact in a game where split-second reactions could mean life or death, because in Dark Souls, you should know how hard it is. And when you miss out on those frames, it makes it really hard to dodge, makes it hard to attack when the time is right, or get readings on enemy attack patterns. So the story here is that, what is this, the Switch version?
This is Dark Souls Remastered. We're watching, off-screen gameplay of Switch.
So this is Dark Souls Remastered, and it seems that they have fixed the frame rate issues in Blighttown.
Awesome.
Which is great, which is what you would expect from a remastered version, hopefully.
Yeah,
and, we're getting that.
You would hope so. And this gameplay comes from somebody at PAX who just went straight to Blighttown just to check it out.
Yeah.
So
Infamous, I would say.
Yeah.
A lot of people know about the issues with Blighttown. But you should know that the remastered version will be running smooth, even on Switch.
Which is awesome to hear, especially because the Switch frame rate is lower than the PS4 and Xbox One frame rate. It's only 30 FPS, right?
Yeah, so it seems that, we already knew this going in, that the Switch version will be 720p, 30 FPS, I think Yeah, that's how it's going to be. So it's going to be a lot, and I wouldn't say lock, but it's a capped 30. As to whether it's steady throughout the entire game, it remains to be seen. But the PS4 and Xbox One versions will be running 60 FPS. And the Pro and Xbox One X versions, I believe, are getting 4K and 60 FPS. Ooh, I got to check my facts, boy.
I believe that's correct.
Yes. But if it's not, you can correct us.
But be nice.
Yeah, be nice. Come on.
We also have our own just general off-screen gameplay of Dark Souls Remastered, if you want to check that out, just like more of the game and not just Blighttown. But
yeah, Dark Souls Remastered coming to Switch. This is going to be pretty dope.
Are you excited about the amiibo? Because I'm excited about the amiibo mostly. I really want that amiibo.
Yeah.
The Solaire, just like that.
Praise the sun, y'all.
That's how you do it.
Yeet.
Too bad we were like in a tiny window when we did that. That's fine. I'm looking forward to like playing this game for the first time because
for the first time.
I've been very I like it. There was something in the frame that made me laugh. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I've just been so intimidated by this game. So
you have you played any Soulsborne games?
Barely.
Oh damn.
Barely.
Ooh, you missing out.
I know. So yeah, that's Dark Souls Remastered, and that's only one of 6 stories we're talking about.
Yes,
so,
we're gonna get to some big ones.
Yeah, don't worry. GTA's coming.
Like Korean companies getting fined for loot box controversies and switcheroos, or
if you thought
some are such.
If you thought loot boxes were gonna go out of the news, you were wrong. This comes from Kotaku. 3 companies were fined by the Korean Fair Trade Commission for deceptive loot box practices, and it totals over $950,000. So Next Floor was fined only $4,600. Net Marble was $55,000, and Nexon was the bulk of it, $875,000.
Nexon taking a hit there.
Taking a big hit, yeah.
So our good friend Microtransactions has made it into our show. It's Microtransactions' debut.
Yeah. That's what we call those around here.
Microtransactions. Microtransactions come up frequently, so this isn't the last you've heard of it.
I'm sure this is not the last one. This is extremely
oh
fast.
my god, this
If you're watching right now, this is super. Is this
jarring.
supposed to be this fast?
Jeez, yeah,
Yeah, it's supposed to be this fast. Okay, that was crazy. So anyway, this is Sudden Attack, which is Nexon's online shooter, and that's the reason we bring it up is because that was one of the particular reasons that Nexon was fined so drastically. So they had an event. You had to collect 16 puzzle pieces for a special reward, and 2 pieces were only found in 85-cent loot boxes. But you had an equal chance of finding one of the 2 pieces, but they only appear in 0.05%, not 0.5% or 5%, 0.05% of loot boxes had those puzzle pieces in it. And one player spent $430 trying to get those puzzle pieces, which amounts to around 500 loot boxes purchased, which is insane.
Damn, y'all getting snaked out there, man.
Yeah, watch out.
They got your ass. Yeah, and then this is a quote from the Korean Herald. They have said that the FTC, Fair Trade Commission's actions have signaled alarm across the Korean game sector, as it could hurt the sales of in-game items, particularly randomized items, which users tend to continuously buy until they get their desired result that contribute immensely to profits.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, boy. So they're cracking down on microtransactions. That guy is everywhere.
That guy going straight to jail.
Yeah.
Well, he's getting fined.
Nexon isn't
Korea's getting fined.
Yeah. Nexon isn't any publisher. As you should know, they this particular case is for their game Sudden Attack, but they're also the publisher of Lawbreakers, which we talked about yesterday. And they also publish MapleStory. Haha, MapleStory. If y'all know what's up with MapleStory, you a real one. I used to go home.
Dude, I have not heard MapleStory in forever, but I 100% played Maple. I also was a MapleStory.
And you're okay. I used to come home. It was 10th grade. I would walk home after ROTC practice, and I would eat. I would drink an energy drink.
Did you say 10th grade?
10th grade, yeah.
Okay.
I was a sophomore in high school, and I would rush home after ROTC practice and play MapleStory with my homies. Oh man, MapleStory was cute as hell. Oof.
That sounds awesome.
I miss me some MapleStory, but Nexon
isn't
shame on you.
Is in some trouble.
They be aight.
What?
They be aight.
They be aight. Okay. I didn't. Whatever. I was just excited because we finally got to the GTA stories, and I know everybody's here
for that sweet headline we posted everywhere. So now we're going to go into.
We have 2.
Back to back. We got a GTA segment for y'all. It kind of in different directions, but it all has to do with the money. Yeah.
Well, so we'll start with the bad news.
Yeah.
Former Rockstar North president Leslie Benzies' $150 million lawsuit against Take-Two has hit a setback. I guess that's only bad news depending on how you look at it.
For the Benz?
But this is for the Benz. But basically, Benzies filed a lawsuit in 2016 claiming that Rockstar's parent company Take-Two owes him $150 million in royalties, and he also alleged that he was forced out of the company.
Yeah.
And so what happened was the New York Supreme Court ruled recently that the profit-sharing agreement that he signed doesn't entitle him to all of the damages that he's seeking. So that's sorry, Benzies.
Yep. This thing is complicated. Let's pull up some B-roll while we
watch some fun GTA while we talk about the serious court stuff.
We got a lot of bullet notes because this obviously goes in many different directions. But
we'll take turns. So you're here.
We're here. Okay. According to the ruling, Take-Two successfully claimed that Benzies breached the royalty agreement he signed with the company in 2009 and is not to be entitled to the money.
Our notes say is not be entitled.
He not be entitled. So that's how it be.
But in 2012, Benzies became a Rockstar principal for his contributions to the company's games over the years. Mm-hmm. And the Supreme Court noted that the language in the 2009 royalty plan, quote, contains no language mandating equal payments to the principals. So despite being a principal, the agreement he signed doesn't entitle him to all the money. And of course, the reason this is a big deal is because GTA 5 makes a shit ton of money.
Hella money, which we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah.
But more details on the Benz in his court case. So the court also ruled that in the terms of agreement are unambiguous and are not overwritten by the 2012 agreement Benzies signed.
However, Take-Two has failed to show that legally their interpretation of the 2012 employment agreement is the only reasonable one. That's a quote. So the Supreme Court will not dismiss Benzie's claims for royalties specific to that 2012 agreement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And on top of that, the court preliminarily, that's a cool word I've never used, sided with Benzie's when it came to his improper termination from Rockstar. So let's break that down, because that's part of this.
I think I kind of know the story off the top of my head.
Okay, I'll fact check you.
Oh yeah, fact check me. So I think, long story short is that I think around 2014 or 2015, somewhere around that time.
Sure.
Leslie, the Benz.
It's not a fact that I have, so therefore I cannot check it.
All right. Leslie Benzies, or the Benz.
As he is
referred
known.
to. Yeah. This is after GTA 5 released on PS3 and Xbox 360.
Which was in 2013.
Yeah,
so
post 2013. So,
thereabouts.
Anyway, he went on a 17-month sabbatical, just like dipped out on vacation. 17 months, by the way.
That's like, what?
That's
I barely get like a day off.
I don't even get 17 hours off ever.
What's a weekend?
Yeah. But so then he came back after a 17-month
sabbatical, which he alleges he was encouraged to do, which is an important note. So he alleges like, they were like, oh, the Benz, may we call you the Benz? Please take 17 months off. And he went, okay.
It's like, hell yeah.
And then he came back and they didn't have a job for him anymore.
Yeah, he was like, work here?
They were like, who?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're here with the BMW now, and get it? Do you get it? What I did?
That's okay.
Well,
that's fine.
Shut up. And so he alleges in the lawsuit that was basically them forcing him out of the company.
Yeah,
and like we said, the court preliminarily sided with him on that claim.
Mm-hmm. And I think, if I recall correctly, based on Rockstar lore, is that the Benz is, I mean, he's no slouch. So I think that like when Red Dead Redemption was kind of on the brink of release, there were still a lot of things that needed to be finished. So they called in the Benz, and then he came in there and like set that ship sailing in the right direction to get Red Dead Redemption out in proper form for its release date. So that's kind of the story behind the Benz and what he can do for Rockstar.
Yeah.
But yeah, his case, the story of the day is that he ain't winning.
He's not entitled to that money. Damn. As far as the court is concerned.
That's a lot of money.
This is the initial lawsuit, so
and
of
$150 million, dude, you can go on like hella sabbatical.
An indefinite sabbatical.
Yeah, that would hook me up with $150 million. I'll do something special with that.
Yeah.
Help the world.
Help the world with more GTA news. An analyst says it isn't likely that Rockstar will have another hit on the scale of GTA 5. And this is probably one of my favorite quotes that I've ever read. So just get ready for this. Okay. So Cohen and Company analyst Doug Kreutz, I think is how you pronounce that. Kreutz doesn't think Red Dead Redemption 2 will sell as well as Grand Theft Auto 5, which we said makes a shit ton of money, was my exact wording. But Kreutz said to Market Watch, and this is so good. I love this so much.
This quote is something.
That's not to say Rockstar won't have other big hits. It may. But another GTA 5 isn't likely. Michael Jackson had a lot of hit albums, but he only had one thriller.
That's a pretty good way to put it, I guess.
I love that GTA 5 is the thriller
of Rockstar.
Of Rockstar's oeuvre.
Yeah, Thriller had quite a bit a great online component.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of microtransactions can't help that sustain itself or something.
Yeah, so Kreutz, the analyst, believes that GTA 5 is a, quote, wild outlier in the video game market when it comes to sales, which, yeah, that game is popping.
It's not wrong.
Yeah. And he was commenting on a piece that claims that GTA 5 has brought in $6 billion in revenue, and that would have, and if that is true, which that was a report from, I think, yesterday, if that's true, that would make it the most successful entertainment product of any kind, any medium in all of history.
Whoa, damn.
But there's no hard data to back that up.
So we'll just roll with that.
But I do like, well, GTA 5 is the most successful thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah, GTA Online has kind of took a life of its own.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know that thing is still going. I played a lot of that with my friends. Those heists are dope. There's a lot of I don't know. I don't really spend money on. I don't really buy into microtransactions, but
well, your name is Michael, so you don't need any microtransactions.
No, I'll fight that fool. But yeah, there's a lot of infrastructure in place for GTA 5 Online to like just continually succeed. You constantly see it on the top of played Steam charts, and it's like still like even last year when we always do those NPD reports of like the top selling games, like GTA 5 is still pushing units.
Yeah, GTA 5 still is like hits #1 on like weekly UK sales charts. It's and like wild. It's crushing it. As of February, like this past February, more than 90 million copies had been shipped.
Right.
So that's and you know, yesterday we talked about how Resident Evil 7 had over 5 million copies.
Yeah.
And that was like huge. Capcom was like, yeah, this is 90 million.
It's 90. But we got 90 million though.
And so basically the not allegation, but what the analyst said is, Red Dead 2, not going to touch that.
And I don't think that's like a profound statement or anything. Like that's no surprise.
I know, it's like, okay, thanks, Captain Obvious.
Oh, like Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be a huge game, probably one of the most anticipated games in a very long time. But
I'm very excited for Red Dead. I'm excited for like the current gen horses. Just kidding. That's not what I mean. Yes, but no.
I'm probably going to bring this up in future episodes, but my former boss from my previous job, her husband was a programmer with Rockstar, one of the lead programmers in Rockstar.
Oh.
And he did the horsehair animations and the horse animations in Red Dead Redemption.
That's badass.
I know. I told her, I was like, hey, I'm dipping out for GameSpot. Peace out. She's like, for reals? And then I was like, yeah.
She told you all the
She's like,
cool
yo,
details.
you play Red Dead Redemption? I'm like, hell yeah. She's like, well, let me tell you a story. And
Sick.
That was that.
Love it. So there you have it. That was our super long GTA segment. Hope everybody is happy with that. But we got 2 more stories, so stick around.
Ooh.
And these are there's a doozy, and then there's a little bit of a happier one. So let's start with the doozy. The Simpsons responds to racial stereotyping of Apu. You probably saw this on Twitter yesterday. Sunday night's episode of The Simpsons addressed recent criticisms of the character Apu, who is the owner of the Quickie Mart. And they didn't do it very well. A lot of fans are really disappointed. So the background here is that in 2017, comedian Hari Kondabolu, I'm totally butchering that, I'm sorry, released a documentary called The Problem with Apu, and it was just looking at the negative racial stereotypes associated with that character. You know, he's like, his classic line is like, thank you, come again. Like, it's super over-the-top accented. And also Hank Azaria does the voice, and he's white. Worth noting. And worth noting, Hank Azaria won an Emmy for that performance in 1998, and so that ties into The Simpsons' response. At the time the documentary came out, Azaria responded on Twitter, or actually I don't know if it was on Twitter, but he responded saying that the situation was upsetting, and that the movie made some really good points about the character. So Sunday's episode is called No Good Read Goes Unpunished. And it shows Marge and Lisa trying to make a book called The Princess in the Garden inoffensive to people in 2018. And they're like editing it.
Right.
Yeah. And we actually have somebody posted a clip on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
And we have it. But I'll just like pull it up and we'll talk about it. But oh, you didn't pull up the camera?
Oh, snap. My bad. I'm just like, okay, there you go.
It's all good. But yeah, so Lisa turns to the camera and totally like breaks the fourth wall, and you see the picture of Apu on the nightstand. So basically she says, something that started decades ago and was applauded and inoffensive is now politically incorrect. What can you do? And then it pans to that picture of Apu, and it says, don't have a cow on it.
And she says, like, what can you do? Not as in like, what can
we do? But like,
but it's almost like, oh, well, yeah, oh, well, what can you do? Like, that's a damn cop-out.
Right? What can we do? It was 20, 30 years ago. And it's like, bro, it was still racist 20 years ago. But you can fix this. And then Marge says, like, some things will be dealt with at a later date. And Lisa says, if at all. Which is, so I know a lot of people were probably like, what's the big deal about this? And I think, like, as somebody who grew up watching The Simpsons, and I was a really big fan of The Simpsons for a really long time, Lisa was always a really important character to me as a kid. And I looked up to her a lot and I related to her a lot. And I think it's super not cool that they had Lisa deliver this line.
Yeah,
like,
this is very out of character.
That's
Lisa.
Her. Lisa has always been the voice of reason in The Simpsons, and like when The Simpsons was like constantly satirizing, not just pop culture, but like the current state, like current events and the state of, especially American society. I mean, like she has like the vegetarian episode and the episode where she meets that like activist and they like go tree hugging and like she's always the one who stands up for what's right, and she is a foil to her family. And so to have her deliver the line about like, now this is politically incorrect, what can you do?
It's super out of character. She's always
so
been like,
disappointing.
She's always been like a progressive kind of embodiment in The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Now I know that there's a lot of talk of like oh, Simpsons is all about satirizing like all types of different people and all types of stereotypes. Well, a racial stereotype is very different than like, you know, Wiggum, who's like the dumb cop.
Yeah.
And like Homer, who's just like the lazy, naive dad or whatever. And like, yeah, those are stereotypes, but like it's different when it's a racial stereotype. And for all you colonizers out there who want to be talking about like, oh, you shouldn't be offended by this. Well, get in these damn shoes, all right? Like, y'all, like if that's how you feel, like I understand how you may have gotten to that point, but take a step back and kind of think like, okay, well, all right, well, I ain't brown, so like, oh, well, maybe I should think about this. It's like, well, yeah, you probably should.
Yeah,
you know?
It's like not really anybody else's place to say whether or not the character of Apu is okay.
Like if there was if it was a predominantly like cartoon, like there's a show about like a Midwest area, and they had like a Filipino character who like, yeah, well, maybe like obviously my mom has an accent, like immigrants will have a Filipino accent, but like if they're like constantly like their character shtick was always like there's a Filipino stereotype and like we're always haggling to get something for cheaper, like that is very much a thing that like my mom and my grandma and my aunties do. And then like if that's the the stereotype they're trying to hit with that character in that show, it's like, miss me with that shit.
Yeah.
So take a step back, think for a minute before you speak.
Yeah.
About things like that you may have not understand, but try and understand.
Totally. And I think there are smart ways they could have addressed it. Like they've had episodes about Apu before. Like there's, I mean, the octuplets episode, but also just like exploring his marriage and stuff.
Yeah.
They have Apu episodes. It's not like they can't delve into that character.
Right.
And I mean, obviously Simpsons is in season 29. It hasn't been great for years now, especially if you like are used to like seasons 2 through like 9, that sweet spot. Yeah. But they didn't have to literally have Lisa look at the camera and be like, this was fine 20 years ago when Hank Azaria won the Emmy for doing the voice. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, Futurama's a great television show though.
You know what's a great you know what are great shows?
What?
Anime.
Anime is a great show.
Simpsons is one of your favorite animes growing up?
Simpsons, yeah, totally my favorite anime. Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, we do have some happier news about things that were handled well. And this comes from Kotaku also. The Western version of A Link Between Worlds has more body positivity. So this is, I really love translation and localization. And so Clyde Mandolin, who you probably know him from his fan translation of Mother 3 and the website Legends of Localization, he took a look at A Link Between Worlds and basically picked out a part with the Zora Queen that was localized totally differently into English than it was in the original Japanese. And it's really cool. So do you want to take this next bit? Give us the background. What's up with the Zora Queen?
Sure. Okay. So in the story, Zora Queen grows to a large size after a thief steals a gem that helps her control and focus her power. Now the game requires Link to find the gem and restore the queen to her original form. So. And
so in the original Japanese, there's characters that refer to her larger size negatively. So, and they all like, because they're Zora, they have this like sentence ender just Zora, but it doesn't translate to anything. That's just how they end their sentences. But they say, but I actually kind of like her even looking like that, Zora. What a relief, Zora. The queen has regained her beauty, Zora. And in the localization, in the Western version, those lines were removed, and the line is, but I actually kind of like her even looking like that, Zora, became, we've got to get it back in her pool before all is lost. And so it was more about protecting the character rather than protecting her beauty as the queen. And this is just like I don't know. I don't have a huge, like, big opinion about it, but I just think it's a really cool detail on how localization can really transform a character and how important localization is. And maybe you do, if you're interested in like what the original Japanese is, these kinds of resources can give you some insight into those characters. And then the localization is like, oh, well, for Western audiences, maybe we don't need to have those kinds of like little jokey humor things. Which I think this is just like a cool thing. You know,
localization is an amazing thing. Because then when games come over from Japan, like if you're not familiar with what localization exactly is that it's not just a translation of the language. Because you can get a very literal translation that won't get like the emotion across.
Right.
So localization is kind of, okay, this is what it directly translates to. Now, what does this mean in like an American context? You know, and what exactly are you trying to say? What emotions are you trying to portray? That is what localization kind of is. And also like thematically, like some things need to be tweaked thematically for certain audiences for it to either make more sense or to just better fit like the cultural norms that are there. Like, and
like, you know, that this isn't even just including things that don't translate. There's of course things that don't translate from Japanese directly into English. This is just kind of like, well, is this something that's even funny in America?
Yeah. Or
is this something that's necessary?
Like humor landing is huge for localization, especially as I'm playing more and more of the Yakuza series.
Yeah.
Because a lot of like the jokes, a lot of the like the situations and how the characters kind of like talk about the situations in a game like Yakuza 0 or Yakuza 6 or all those wonderful games. It just like it speaks to its audience. Like it has that kind of Western humor. And it uses Western slang to kind of portray these characters in certain ways.
Right.
And it's super effective. Like, yeah. And I think also I talked to 84 Studios. They're homies. They're good friends of ours. I met some of the people at 84 when I went to go see the Nier Automata panel at GDC, and they're just very good people who do a lot of good localization.
Yeah.
So,
it's an art form.
Yes. So when you do get Japanese games that are translated very well, you know, show some appreciation for localization.
And that's all the time we have. So that was 6 stories, like we promised, in 30 minutes or less. We have just a couple quick things before we go. Just PSAs. Ghost Recon Wildlands, Splinter Cell, and Overwatch Retribution events are both live today.
Yes.
So if you're interested in either of those games, they have new stuff going on. We've talked about Ghost Recon yesterday, and we'll be streaming Overwatch right after this.
I think
not us, but
we won't be, but I believe it'll be. Wait, Joey's not here, is he? Is Joey? Oh no,
Joey's here.
I saw Joey earlier. Yeah, so Joey and Eric Tay are our Overwatch boys.
Yeah. So if you're watching live, they'll be streaming right after this. So that's 11:30 a.m. PT. And then if you're not watching live, we'll have that video up as well if you are curious about the Overwatch Retribution event.
Yeah.
And what else? Oh, anime's great.
Yeah, I'm blazing through My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Loving it. And Little Witch Academia. I'm going to school,
He's
man.
going.
I'm going to school. I'm going to be a hero and a witch. Yo, anime is a wonderful thing. So just I'll leave y'all with that.
That's where we'll part with you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Matt Paget and Tony Wilson, for getting all our stories together, getting those bullet points squared away.
We love y'all.
Yeah.
Very big help. Gaj and Eric Tay, Chris Pereira, everyone's pitching in to make this happen. And you are all out there watching and listening are also helping make this happen. So we hope you stick around every damn day.
Yeah.
Because we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow.
And let us know what you think. Have a good day.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.